Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The traveler, the mouse, and the wave. The direction your consciousness takes determines the worlds you enter. You could have remained in the unmanifest realm of Shiva Chitta. Shiva Chitta, or cosmic ocean of consciousness, represents your point of origin. Shiva Chitta is the indivisible unity, the supreme totality, the one without the other. Enjoyment within, sans without. Sometimes its static nature can even make enjoyment seem boring. What if we go out for a stroll, for a quick walk? Asks the naive Chitta to its Shiva. When you, the Chitta, leaves home to travel out and without, you have adopted a direction that is taking you far and away from your point of origin, aka home. This outward expanding direction delineating you from your point of origin is called desire. This is the realm of dynamicity, vibrance, duality of polarity, projection of ego, the feel of Prakriti, the yantra of Maya, the clamor of cyclical creative destruction, Shrishti and Pralay. Welcome aboard, my Chitta. Enter the traveler. When you have seen the travel sights and you have fulfilled your prior desires, the desire to go for a stroll, a casual walk in the park. Now, when you have fulfilled all your prior desires, two things can happen. Either during the course of your tours, you saw some more vistas, and now you want to explore them one after another. Or you just want to return home, bored, exhausted, or worse, looted by the samsara, realizing that the other vistas are not worth another trip. After all these vistas look the same. When you keep playing in the world, exploring one vista after another, you are playing in the world of disruptive delusion called Maya. Maya is a force of Prakriti, which in turn is a manifestation of prana. Maya is disruptive and delusionary. Disruptive because they invited you initially and now disrupt your return to your point of origin, your home. Delusionary because they fake it till they make it. They weave the web of delusionary opposites. Ichha dvesh samuthen dvand mohin bharta sarbhutani sammohan sarge yanti parandapa. They weave a web of delusionary opposite to trap you within. They imbibe and engross you in its lure like a cheese trap, like a cheese traps a mouse in a mousetrap. Enter the mouse. You are the mouse. Desires are the cheese, and this samsara is your mousetrap. The mousetrap tells the mouse, I am here to shelter and serve you. Come, get your cheese. Mousetrap is the samsara. Cheese are your unfulfilled sprihas, desires, cravings, expectations. The more the mouse looks at the cheese, the more badly it wants it, even if the mouse has become lactose intolerant. The mousetrap is the samsara. The kind of mousetrap you get is dependent on your past life activities. A golden mousetrap is still a trap. One day, the mouse realizes he had enough. He's not interested in the cheese anymore. Then the mousetrap is not able to trap him again. He only needs to get rid of this current trap. The practices he engages in to break the prison bars, to escape the mouse trap, are called yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. Our mouse has turned from a cheese bhogi into a pratyahar yogi. Lessons in physics tell us that scalars have magnitude. Compared to scalars, vectors have both a magnitude and a direction. This direction gives the magnitude a purpose. Magnitude is the rajasic guna. Rajas is passion, vigor, energy. In the world of Maya, Rajas is used to protect, preserve, and grow the identity component of nature called ego. This ego is created from the upper Maya. Ego is required to create delusionary differences between the individual mice, telling one is different from the other, so they can interact and keep the madness of disruptive delusion going. Maya says the show must go on. Ahamkara is just rolling the tapes. When you have no ahamkara or ego, there are no tapes. Delusion ends. The traveler returns home. The mouse is freed of the mousetrap and returns to its burrow. The mousetrap was never its home. If you suffer, feel miserable, and are tortured in your makeshift shelter, it is a prison. It is not your home. Enter the wave. The story of Atman and Shiva Chitta is the story of the wave and the ocean. The wave cannot exist independent of the ocean. But to delineate a wave, there has to be some intrinsic turbulence in the ocean. When you get bored at home, you want to go experiment with the world outside. So boredom is the first cardinal intrinsic vector creating turbulence. It is the condition in which the consciousness cannot perceive anand or bliss uninterrupted in the Satchitanand realm. Why cannot the Chitta experience anand? What creates this boredom? The static nature that is needed to create peace, unfortunately, can also create boredom. Boredom then creates take it for granted attitude. In order to experience what you have, you need to first value what you have and what you are. That is the beauty of awareness or consciousness. The constant play of prana around the fringes of the introspective chitta disrupts its awareness and introspective enjoyment. The orbiting electrons start teasing and tantalizing their static nucleus. Come get me, baby. Boredom, coupled with the ongoing dance of dynamic, vibrant chitta, creates the first visible crack in the chit of Shiv Chit called curiosity. The introspective solitude-relishing moat of Shiva Chitta starts eroding. You see, the curiosity creates desire, and curiosity also creates wisdom. Wisdom and desire have sibling rivalry. One interrupts the growth of the other. When curiosity exceeds wisdom, the first incarnation of Chitta happens. This is the newly minted Atman or soul, the fragment because it's able to see itself as distinct from the undivided eternal unity called Shiva Chitta. The waters of the ocean roll up as a mighty wave, the soul, and try to assert their independence from the ocean that gave rise to them. The creation questions its creator. Shiva Chitta engulfs the waves again and again, saying, "Hey, we are all one. We are all within." The Atman wave wants to go out. It wants to go without. It wants to go ballistic. However, Atman is still part of Shiva Chitta. Hence, whenever Atman goes, the supreme Shiva Chitta, like a guardian angel, replicates itself to come with it. This replica is the supreme witnesser, aka Parmatma. Atman is the proof of work that needs a vigilante called the proof of stake, called Parmatma. There is no privacy. You, Atman, can never stay alone. You can never be alone. When detours in the world of Maya Samsara end, this proof of stake Shiva Chitta replica, Paramatma, takes the proof of work, Atman, back to the cosmic consciousness, the ocean of Shiva Chitta, from where they originated. So Atman, in short, is trying to create a river out of an ocean, Ulti Ganga, when Shiva Chitta is telling Atman there are no rivers once you enter the ocean. These rising waves, when they submerge back in the ocean, they have no independent existence anymore. Hence, Atman exists only till the point the mouse remains in the mousetrap, the traveler on the Highway 66. When the waves settle in the waters, there is only indivisible, indomitable consciousness, no fragments within. Manifest begets manifest. In the world of Maya, one idea leads to another. Scalar needs vectors. Magnitude meets direction. A new experience is created. The purpose of Maya is to provide external, quick experiences. Because the experiences within, aka Shiva, need a little more effort to be explored. They are like the Shreya or the long-term gratification, whereas Maya provides you the Priya pleasures, the ejaculatory enjoyment of orgasms that are very short-lived but very strong bursts of enjoyments. The experience without seems like a viable alternative. The experience without of the world of Mahabhut, the world of senses, the world of manifesting your desires. This experience to the outside, or experience without, is the chosen, pursued direction. Every desire has a magnitude and direction. Outward rolling desires that lead us to experience without are created by Prakriti so that Atman can come and play here in this garden to experience the externals. The magnitude represents Rajas. When the direction of the magnitude is reckless and relentless, extreme polarity pursuing, it becomes tamas. When the direction is regulated, it is sattva. Sattva regulated desires operate with a set of mahabhut disciplinary actions, also known as the bumpers and speed breakers on this roller coaster life. These bumpers and speed breakers that cleanse the senses or indriyas, instruments of external experience, and indriyartheshu, the objects of sensual gratification, also known as the Panch Mahabhut, Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham, earth, water, fire, air, and ether operate together. Existence is scalar. Awareness is the transitioning of a scalar into a vector. So awareness is the transition of the scalar becoming a vector. Intention is a pure vector. Intention realizes you have come too far from your home, imploring the path of tamas. It encourages you to return home. Intention is a divine recall. Intention is rooted in shraddha or faith and operates as sankalp. Turn your scalars into vectors using the power of pratyahara. Scalars will become vectors because Prakriti is constantly evolving. We better evolve ourselves before Maya devolves us using the lust, anger, and greed, the three doors to hell. Trividham narkasiram dwaram nashnam kama krodha satha lobha tasmat ditatrayam tyajet. Think of scalar as charge on a subatomic particle. Charge can be negative, like an electron, or positive, such as 1 on a proton. In the end, positive and negative charge coalesce to form a neutral neutron, or the Nirgun Brahman. But to experience the self as Nirgun Brahman, one who has entered the world of Maya to rapidly, quickly experience the so-called experiences without, has become negatively charged. Who has turned negative needs to turn positive to counteract the negative charge before it can become neutral, nispriha, nirguna, devoid of cravings. That is why the karmic echo of our desires come back as emotions. The negative emotions drag us down and make us suffer, because before we realize that we are suffering and we want to overturn this behemoth of menace called Maya. Primarily, 3 negative emotions haunt and harness the lower chakras. Greed at the lowest chakra Muladhara, lust at the sacral root plexus Swadhisthana, and anger at the solar plexus Manipura. When these negative charges are turned positive by the power of pratyahara and the perseverance of yoga sadhana, there is transformation of the negative emotions into positive emotions. Then greed becomes compassion. Getting becomes giving. Then anger becomes courage. I cannot stand wrong done to me becomes I cannot stand wrong done to anyone, any individual, family, society, community, or country. Lust becomes intuition. Experience others becomes others experience me. Or in short, you mold Muladhara into Anhada, Swadhisthana into Agya, and Manipur becomes Vishuddha. If you want to make it further concise, one can say the lust, which is calm, has transformed into courage. What I can get from this individual has become what can I give to this individual. Emotions arise from water Mahabhut, composed of flexibility, adaptability, perseverance. Emotions arise from water Mahabhut, flow into one another. It is like holding water in the fist. What you cannot capture, you cannot contain. If we don't act with awareness using pratyahara, what happens? What is sadhana? What is sadhana interrupted? What if sadhana is interrupted and half-hearted? When you cannot counteract the negativity will counteract you. Atman in human body will devolve into lower species to experience carnal desires. Here, Atman is bound by Maya and Karma-bandhan. Here, Maya and Karma-bandhan are growing and choking the Atman like a wild anaconda chokes its prey. Death by 1,000 cuts, the cuts of gradual increasing suffocation. Except there is no death. Except you cannot kill consciousness. You can only bruise and batter it. Scalars will become vectors no matter what. Ego will turn our neutral scalars into negative vectors to propagate and perpetuate the delusionary Maya, to protect and preserve the distinctiveness of individual from one another. Prithak-tven tu yaj jnanam nana bhavan prithak vidhan vetti sarveshu bhuteshu tam rajasam. The distinctness and the divisibility creates the ego and the delusion, and that is the power of rajas. So, ego will turn our neutral scalars into negative vectors to propagate and perpetuate the delusionary Maya, to protect and preserve the distinctiveness of one individual from others, to salvage the Muladhara and to sustain the cycle of births and rebirths. The karma bandhan will keep us reincarnating again and again to pay off the past debts. It even encourages you, using the force of Maya, to further this borrowing behavior, borrow new desires, to act upon to create further debt, ran anu bandhan. Prakriti needs some Atman to get lusty and horny, to allow Maya to operate. But there will be a pivot point, a point of reversible, a point of redemption. Just like pain and suffering of inflation destroys debt of a country, the austerity of pratyahara destroys karma bandhan of an individual Atman. Maya will select its victim with programmed ruthlessness, not serendipity, based on our samskaras, based on our remaining karma bandhan. There is a method to its madness, the blueprint of samsara. These vulnerable Atmans, who by default did not believe in putting efforts into the introspection, creating the first ripples and turbulence in their cosmic, Shiva-Chitta cosmic consciousness, now will engage in the duality polarity, the delusionary and disruptive game of Maya. Life begets life, to test newly minted Atmans in the world of Maya called samsara. When a yogi of Ashtanga Yoga, a lover of pratyahara, practices yoga, he turns the negative emotions into positive ones, thereby neutralizing the charge to become Nirguna Brahman, and then merges into the cosmic consciousness of Shiva Chitta via supra-vertical 7 chakra of Sahasrara. Weight has returned back as mass by neutralizing the vector of gravity. Mass has returned back as primordial energy by neutralizing the dynamicity called prana. Prana has returned back to the supramagnetic black hole of Brahman called Shiva Chitta. The wave has merged back into the ocean. The delusion of independent identity has been destroyed. The mouse has escaped the mousetrap for once and all. The traveler has finally returned to his eventual destination, his home, Shiva Chitta. The traveler, the mouse, the wave never existed outside of Maya. Jai Shri Ram.